My brother got me excited about aviation. From there, when you decide to do something, you jump in with both feet, or I do at least.
They wanted to do something more. Concept of building something wrapped around World War II aviation.
I think that I've always wanted to build a museum.
From an early age, 6 or 7 years old, all I wanted to be is around these World War II airplanes.
It's amazing how much goes on behind the scenes here.
The museum as a whole is much more than the airplanes. Everything moves, it comes to life.
A learning environment that hopefully can engage everybody.
Telling the story of the people who were there.
And taking that time in our history, let's not do that again. And I'm going to walk you through what we do every morning to bring the museum to life.
To see it and build it, and then I think in the last 2 years, watch it actually blossom and flourish. There's a lot of museums that are bigger, and I go, absolutely. There's huge museums, but they're not better.
And you take these things that have been sitting out for 40 years in the elements or underwater, you restore them to flying condition using a fair amount of actual parts.
My dad's business went from a couple of guys that were barely making it to a pretty proficient restoration shop, if not the #1 shop in the world, really.
We would say, hey, this is what we need to do, because if not, it's going to take us 6 years to build that project.
So it's quite a feat to restore these airplanes to flying condition. Been fun. It's just been a discussion among friends.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Winged Victory with Rob and Scott, a podcast by the National Museum of World War II Aviation here in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Welcome to one of our first repeat offender videos here on the Winged Victory podcast. I'm Rob Gale, my partner in pod crime,
Scott
Clares, and back for yet another appearance is Arnie E-Bunny Easterly, here to
regale you with tales of aviation.
Indeed, because we did have some people who said, well, what about this and what about that? And so we're going to do some what about this and what about that. When we last left off, now, of course, we got some White House.
Oh, it's serialized.
Serial killer.
Episode 2.
As I say, repeat offender. Recidivist, to be fancy.
Recidivist would be better.
Yeah. You had alluded to an instructor story.
Black Bart.
Well, yes, but now you're an instructor, and one of these
Easy
bright-eyed...
Easy Easterly.
Easy Easterly. Yeah, I'm sure. So one of these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed wannabes tried to kill you one day and actually injured you.
Well, he didn't try to kill me. He tried to maim me, and he succeeded. So, yeah, that story. That's. I was an instructor, T-34 Cs, in VT2. At the time, VT2, the main runways at Whiting Field, which was the main training base, were being worked on. So the 3 training squadrons opened up a detachment at a place called Softly Field.
Oh, yeah.
Which was very, very close to where I lived. Matter of fact, my property, I had 4 acres bordered on Softly Field, so this was great for me. But so we're flying out of Softly Field on a, it's called PA, Precision Aerobatics 1, first PA flight. Now, when you start PA syllabus, you've already soloed as a student, and so you can basically fly the airplane you're competent at flying, and you're safe to fly the airplane solo. So I have a student on a PA1, Precision Aerobatics 1. We're out over off Softly Field, over Perdido Bay, and the first maneuver that you train a student in is a basic loop. It's a very, 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 very easy maneuver to do well. And
inside loop, I presume.
Yes, it's an inside loop, and basically you perform the loop starting at about 5,000-6,000 feet. You start, and you run through your procedures. You have to do you have to do clearing turns, and you have an acrobatic checklist you complete. Everything's ready to go. As an instructor, it's the first maneuver of the day. I demonstrated a loop. Push the nose over, 180 knots, check your wingtips level on the horizon, straight pull, look backward, pull, there's 2.5, 3G, up over the top. As you're coming up over the top, you check your wings level against the horizon one more time, continue your pull, relax your pull as you come out, and if you do it correctly, you'll feel a boom.
Because you've flown through your own
prop wash, which I did every single time, of course.
Of course. Naturally.
Naturally. But so I demonstrate the maneuver, give it to the stud. He does his checklist. He does his clearing turns. Off we go. Pushes the nose over, 180 knots, pull 2.5, 3 Gs, hold it, look over the top. Well, as we're coming up over the top, we start getting rudder shakers. Start getting a little buzz in the rudder shakers. That's a stall warning. No big deal. I'm in the back seat, all relaxed. I've seen this 100 times. We're on hot mic, and I just tell him, hey, just relax some of that backstick pressure. Well, his idea of relaxing backstick pressure is to jam it full forward as hard as he can. Literally, boom. Well, we now go negative, about a -2, 2.5, which is the structural limit for the T-34C. And so we fly up. I fly violently up. Well, in the back seat where the instructor's, where I'm sitting, for instrument flights, there's a hood. There's a hood that comes over the top, just seal off the hood. Well, the hood hinge sticks out about 3 inches. It's right above your elbow. And when I fly up, going negative, I hear a thwack. I can hear a thunk, and my right arm instantly goes completely numb. My fist balls up, and it's lying in my lap, completely numb. It's not like a funny bone hit. It's actually dead.
Something's broken.
Something is really wrong here. Well, there's other things that are wrong, because we are inverted, and the aircraft is about to stall. Rudder shakers are just going nuts. Airspeed is bleeding way off. We're now inverted, climbing like this, because he still has, his last command was relax backstick pressure. And so I'm trying to reach down, because we're negative, reach down to grab the stick and pull it. Well, he's still holding it down here, and I'm hollering at him, let go, let go, let go. And there's some other words that we're not going to use on the podcast here. I'm also hollering it as loud as I can to
emphasis is important.
To, gosh darn it, I would really appreciate it if you would release the stick. Things to that effect.
Yes.
Yeah, or not. And of course, you can see these giant question marks all around his head, because he's just like this on his white student helmet, and so I managed to finally jerk the stick out of his hand just as we're getting ready to stall. Now, my problem with this is we're setting ourselves up for the perfect inverted stall, inverted spin. That maneuver is so dangerous, we don't even train it. We don't practice it as instructors. We talk about it as instructors, what to do. Never done one in my entire life. And so I'm thinking, he's going to put me in an inverted spin. All the control inputs now to recover would be opposite from normal. And luckily, I'm able to jerk the stick out of his hand with my left hand, which we're not used to flying with your left hand.
No.
Okay.
No.
And pull that out and manage to stand on a rudder, go left, and we're able to basically hammerhead out of this inverted position straight down. Well, the throttle was at max for the maneuver that we started, so now we're screaming for the deck.
Now you got to let go of the stick.
Got to let go of the stick and bring the PCL back. Well, we're totally mistrimmed for what we're doing right now, because now we're screaming at 230 knots or so to the deck and accelerating. And so I'm having to let go of the stick, which now, and pull back the PCL. I managed to get the aircraft recovered. Bottom line, I lived. Believe it or not, we lived.
You're still here.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm here.
Unless you really are a recidivist,
Yes.
and this is your second iteration.
Recovered. Told him, take us back to Softly Now. We'd only been out for 10, 15 minutes. Take us back now. Oh, yes, sir. And am I going to get it down? Just shut up. Just take us back to Softly Now. And he managed to get us back. All the while back, I'm thinking, I'm crippled. I was very concerned. I had absolutely no feeling, and my fist is still balled up like this. Got up, he taxied us in, shut down. I got out of the airplane, out of the parachute, get out of the airplane, and all the while he's very concerned. Sir, am I going to be okay? Just go away. It's an incomplete. We didn't go out. The flight never happened.
You were easy.
Well, I think I'm crippled.
Yeah, he's got more important things
So
to worry about at the moment.
I don't worry about his grades. I'm worried about will I ever use my arm
but-
again. And so I went to the dispensary there at Softly Field. They had a little dispensary, and the flight surgeon kind of looked at it, and he finagled it and kind of pushed the chip off against that nerve that was pinching that nerve. And as soon as he pinched it off, it hurt like hell. And I was put it back in. So I was down for several weeks with a broken elbow. I don't know whatever happened to that stud. I never flew with him again.
Never flew with him. He didn't show up with a case full of whiskey for you?
He
or
should have.
Something?
No.
Jiminy Christmas.
I didn't want to see
He was probably afraid to even see
I didn't
you.
want to see his face again.
Yeah. So you never flew with him again?
Nah. No. Wasn't his
just as
fault.
well.
He was just a conehead.
Well, I guess, yeah. But I mean, you think that there would be some kind of like reciprocity of like,
Yeah.
I just took out my instructor. I need to do something to get back in his good graces.
He was probably just afraid to be within pistol range.
That's probably it. Yeah. These hands are the hands of a killer, So Anyway, so that's a training command story.
Oh, you got some interesting stories that get you in trouble physically quite often. It seems like.
Yeah,
I mean,
and some. By the way, I do want to thank our host Rob for those wonderful Bloody Marys he brought in beforehand.
What Bloody Marys?
Those Virgin Marys you brought in.
Virgin Marys.
Yes, they were
Yes.
exceptionally well.
Virgin Marys.
But all
Just for
good
the record,
all
I'm
good
not
stories.
partaking.
All good stories start with good lubrication, though. Just like a good flight, you have to have good lubrication.
It's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you were wondering,
White House. Like you had I feel the story you had about Ronald Reagan and his wife. And
Yeah.
That's touching.
I mean, that was something that you're
Yeah.
the only person that saw that. So, but I mean, you got other stories that pertain to the White House.
Lots of them. Well, here's one. Here's a good one. I used this story actually to get hired at U.S. Air because I was a U.S. Air A320 pilot. Typical airlines, they'll ask you for a story that concerns a hard decision you had to make while you're flying. That's a very common question they ask in these airline interviews. So I was prepared for it, and the story I used was it was a Camp David weekend. I was the Marine One pilot for a Camp David weekend. When you fly to Camp David with if you flew up there with President Reagan, which I went up there as a co-pilot numerous times, it's very quiet, like I shared in my last story, because he's up there to get away from everything, he and his wife. Very quiet, very low-key. You may not even see them the whole weekend. Completely different for President Bush, because he was a physical stud. He was very physical. He's always doing active things. He's, as soon as you check in, you'd get unpacked and get into the pilot's our little
talking
lodge.
about Bush Sr.?
Excuse me, Bush Sr., right.
Okay.
George Herbert Walker Bush Sr. President Bush was completely different, though. You'd land, you get unpacked and would stay at the pilot's our little lodge called Walnut. You'd get all set up in Walnut. You always put on PT gear. You didn't change. You change into PT gear, shorts and shirts or sweats, because the phone was going to ring. It would always ring after you'd been there for about 10, 15 minutes. It'd be the mill-aid of the weekend. President would like to know if you're available for fill in the blank.
A run.
Tennis, a run.
Tennis, golf, volleyball, horseshoes, because they don't take anybody up there with them, so you've got nobody to play with. Everybody who's up there, all the Seabees who are running Camp David, they're busy.
working.
They're working. The Secret Service, the Secret Squirrels, they're all working. The only guys that aren't doing anything are the four pilots. We're just standing around. Can't drink. So we're really. So they'd always call the pilots to go do something with the president. So that particular weekend, it was Sunday morning. We're playing volleyball, which is, if you're not familiar with volleyball, it's volleyball but on a like a racquetball court. So you can use the walls to carry the balls off. It's really kind of fun.
Huh.
President loved volleyball. So we're playing volleyball, breaking the action, and President Bush walks up to me and says, "Arnie, you going to be able to fly me off this morning?" And I said, "Well, let me check, Mr. President." So I went to a phone and called up Andrews Weather. Whenever the president was at Camp David, the duty section at the Andrews Weather Department was always the commanding officer.
A little bit augmented.
It was the commanding officer of the meteorological squadron. It was a colonel. "Colonel, what do we got?" And he said, "Well, Major, what you got is what you got. It's stationary front. Nothing's going to change." That morning, we were not in. It wasn't foggy or misty. We were literally in a cloud. We were in a white cloud at Camp David, which is at altitude. You didn't have 30 feet of visibility. I mean, it was just milky. You're in a cloud. It wasn't safe to drive the golf carts, much less fly. Now, here's the thing. If we needed to fly, of course we would launch into that. We're full IMC qualified, incredible cockpits, glass cockpits, no problem. The problem was the zone at Camp David is surrounded by over 100-foot tall trees. And that would be, if I'm doing an instrument takeoff out of Camp David with the president, that would be the day, sure as hell, that I'm going to lose an engine. It just wasn't worth it.
Murphy is alive and well.
Absolutely. He's a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, and he's always about.
Terminal Lance.
There you go. So my decision was kind of made. No, I'm not going to do a risk. Now, for an admin lift, I wouldn't do it. If the nukes were inbound, or it's a medical emergency, of course we're going to lift.
Yeah, you get the heck out of there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it's administrative lift. We're not going to do it. So I go back to the volleyball court and say, "I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not going to fly off today. It's just not worth the risk for an admin lift." And he looked at me, and it gave me chills, and it kind of still does to this day what he said to me, what George Bush said to me. He looked me in the eye and said, "Okay, Arnie, you're the boss." And I just went, wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Because he didn't say, well, maybe you need to go take another look at the weather, or maybe you need to call your CO down in Quantico and see what he thinks. No, he just totally validated my position.
You're the expert. You're the professional on
I'm
this.
the guy they're paying to look out for him. And well, it's added to the fact he was a naval aviator.
I was going to say, he's the only other one in that crowd
that actually did it.
Yeah.
That was the real thing. He was the youngest naval aviator at one point.
Absolutely. So he
Wings of Gold.
He turned to his other mill aide that weekend. It was it was another Marine major, Dave Bonwit was his mill aide that weekend at Camp David. And he said, "All right, Major Bonwit, you're going to have me back in time for that dinner tonight, or it's going to be Lance Corporal Bonwit, right?" "Yes, sir. Let me go arrange the motorcade." And we kept playing volleyball till he left. So. But
I was going to say, maybe he just wanted you to be the one to be like, "Nope, I got to stick around and play some more volleyball."
And so the reason I use that as a story for a hard decision to make, you want to please this guy. You desperately want to be.
Well, that's the ultimate wanting to please somebody.
So it was a hard decision, but on the other hand, it was an easy decision.
Yeah.
Both. So I used that story at U.S. Air, and hey, I got hired. So.
Well, and it's kind of like when we do the air show every year and we're on their hot ramp. You know, the one thing I tell all my people before we go out there and start going, I go, you got 15,000 people looking at you, and they're all filming you.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to be the guy that ends up on the front pages of every paper crashed, made a bad decision and took the president down.
Yeah. Real quickly, though, I wasn't planning on that story. I just remember that because you brought to mind somebody who gets to tell the president what to do. I don't know if I mentioned to you or not before, at one particular time, it was probably my second year there, we started getting aircraft with glass cockpits as they're coming out of Sikorsky up in Bridgeport. These were really nice HIS-2. They're called HIS-2, Helicopter Integrated System 2. Anyway, it was a glass cockpit, unheard of at that time, period of time to have glass in helicopters. Very competent, very, very nice. I happened to have the first glass cockpit hiss 2 lift off the lawn. We didn't think anything about it. We land. President comes on board. But he being a pilot, he comes up front. He always comes up front to say hi. But he came up and went,
"What is
wow,
this?
This is nice. Wow, what is this?" I explained to him what it was. I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Well, you can do stuff with this." "Oh, yeah. We can put our weather, our route of flight on here. We can avoid where we think the nukes are going to hit that day. All this stuff. We can put it up on the screens." And
far cry from the round gauges of an Avenger that he was used to.
Steam gauges. Steam gauges. And so he's up there for a long time, 2-3 minutes. That's a long time because things are done on a pace when you're lifting off the lawn. Well, that's a long time where nothing's going on. Well, all of a sudden, the only hand on the planet that could do this to the President of the United States comes up behind him, grabs his shoulder, drags him back, and he goes, oh, I guess I got to go sit down. Well, Mrs. Bush, Barbara.
She's like ready to get out of there.
She pulls him out of there, and then she comes up and says, "Now, boys, don't you let him fly this helicopter." "No, ma'am." We had a procedure for that, too. But yeah, fun stuff.
Hi, we're here at the National Museum of World War II Aviation in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in front of our B-25, and we'd like to show you something.
All right, you see this dipstick? You see that number right there? It says 37.5. That's not 37.5 quarts, it's 37.5 gallons of oil. And that's just for one engine. So take a look around. And you can see for yourself just how much oil could be required to keep this museum flying. This is where our friends at Blazing Aviation come into play.
Blazing Aviation has been partners with the National Museum of World War II Aviation in Colorado Springs for years now, as well as outfitting the Pikes Peak Regional Air Show. And honestly, without their support and the most competitive pricing on the market, keeping these rare birds in the air on a regular basis would be a much harder proposition. With products such as Aeroshell, aviation oil, and Phillips smoke oil, or just your everyday needs in greases and even de-icing fluids, our friends at Blazing Aviation are ready to help you with your needs at the right price.
Look, whether you're a pilot, maintainer, or an owner, there are just some things that you have to fly that airplane. Why not get those things at the best price from the people you know and trust? Get them from Blazing Aviation. Go to blazingaviation.com, airplaneoil.com, or just give them a call at 888-394-0983. And as always, let them know you heard it here on the Wing Victory Podcast.
Fun stuff.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Man, we go all day long with your White House stories. I just love them. I think they're fantastic.
I got to write all these down or I'm going to lose them.
Yeah, well, you should be writing a book or
you're
something. Arnie
you're
memoirs.
Immortalized.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You know, for at least this bit.
for at least 40 minutes.
Yeah, give or take. You know, we might give you a 45, or we might cut you off. About now.
It's about time.
Look at the time. No, but I don't know. I'd being the other jarhead here, and having been one of the cargo back in the CH-46, I'm still a little interested in some of the fleet stuff as well. And you do have a quotable quote story from the fleet.
Do you want a quotable quote kind of funny story, or do you want a little more serious search and rescue story? Which one would you guys prefer?
Let's go with funny first.
Let's go with the search and rescue
We don't
first.
have time for that, do we? For 2 stories?
What's
Sure,
that?
we
got
two
time.
stories.
Let's do it.
All right.
That's what we're here for.
The rescue story. The rescue is kind of to helicopter guys.
I guess we let Zorro tell a rescue story.
Yeah,
so we might as
let's
well.
go. I want to hear this.
No, to helicopter guys, getting called out on a SAR, on a search and rescue mission, is peacetime or wartime. That's kind of our combat thing. Because it's also something that you have to guard against. You have to be careful because you can get so focused on the mission that you can do silly things, or things that if you're not careful with yourself can be downright dangerous, because you so want to
make it a double SAR.
Yeah, and so in this particular case, I was a captain stationed in Okinawa, Fatima Marine Corps Air Station, and it was on a Sunday. I was the duty SAR, which means I'm just kind of hanging around. I'm actually at my queue room, but on call, and we get a call to come in. We've got to do a medevac for all we know is it's a Marine who needs extraction. That's all
Which
we know.
is all you need.
That's all you need. So we hustle over to the squadron, fire up the aircraft, my co-pilot, my crew chief, and off we go to the northern training area. If you're familiar with Okinawa, I'm sure you're familiar with the NTA. We go up to the NTA, and we see a group of Marines, and it's really wild. There's a little open grassy area where they pop some smoke for us. We land, and we get the gouge on what's going on. Now, what's happened? It's a Marine surveying crew, engineers, combat engineers. They're doing surveying. And one of their colleagues has fallen down an extremely steep, very, very narrow ravine, of which there are hundreds of these in Okinawa. But it's very
overgrown and
very steep, all jungly and overgrown. Excuse me, and it's very narrow to the bottom, probably 130 or 40 feet down to the bottom of this, and he has fallen, tumbled down in here, and he's hit trees and things on the way down. Well, he's at the bottom. His buddies rappelled down to him, got to him, and he has a back injury. Can't really be moved. It's like, whoa, okay. They can't get him up. There's no way they can get him up. That's why they called us. So we looked this over, decide what we're going to do. What we're going to do is I'm going to put the airplane in a hover over this really steep ravine. We're going to lower down the hoist, our 600-pound hoist. It's got several hundred feet of line.
Yeah, with a backboard
line with a Stokes litter.
Yeah.
They'll hoist him up. Easy peasy, no problem, right? So off we go. Everything's fine until crew chief comes up on the ICS. Hey, Captain, the hoist is locked. Can't move it. He's played out probably 60 or 70 feet of line, and it's locked. Won't come up. Won't go down. It's frozen. Oh man, what are we going to do? I said, well, tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lower us down into this steep crevasse, basically. We're going to lower the H-46 straight down, and hopefully we'll have enough line that it'll get down to him, just if I bring it down. It's a very, very tight fit. Even at the top of it, I can see that we've only got maybe 20, 30 feet on each side of the rotors to get down. It's already tight, but I'm going to try to get him down. So down we go. Well, we're lowering, and you're just tense. I mean, you're so tense. I won't tell you how tense you are.
All
right?
There's an expression for that.
There's a tense, but we're just try to be smooth, try to bring it straight down, lowering down into this crevasse, and I can see the edge of it go. Oh man, we're in it. We're down in this thing. Lowering. Are we there yet? No, sir. We got to come more and more. Oh man. Well, as I lower down, crew chief says we're starting to hit the bushes. Because again, it's covered with jungle.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay. And you could see little pieces of twigs and leaves kind of joining this
through the rotor
wash. And as we're lowering down, we're getting how much farther? God, another 30 feet or so. We're not there. All right. And it's starting to now get even more like a hurricane of leaves and twigs.
You're flying a big weed eater.
I told co-pilot, I said, if we start hitting anything bigger than like a finger, tell me. And we're still lowering down, and it's like, oh man, this is intense. And we're closer to 10 feet, sir, 10 feet. Well, now it's almost like a hurricane of leaves and twigs.
Oh yeah, because you're only 60 feet above the ground,
and
70 feet.
I managed to. He said, okay, it's there. And so get him. I gotta get him in. They get him in real quickly, and we pull it straight up again. I don't want to hit anything major. And we get it up, come back and land back at this little LZ, set him down, move off to the side, and bring him inside, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, oh.
What do those rotors look like when they're done?
Interesting enough. We got him in, flew him to Kue Hospital, to the hospital there on Okinawa, the Navy hospital, and landed, didn't shut down, flew back to Fatima, shut down. I got out of the cockpit, hopped up on board. I want to check out what I've done to this rotor system. The blades have a spar integrity system called a BIMS, blade integrity something system, maintenance system. But basically the blades they're vacuum packed. the spars are. So if there's ever a
You break the vacuum.
break the vacuum, you'll have an indicator that'll show you broke the vacuum, the blade's bad. So I checked all the BIMs on all 6 blades. They were all fine. And if you looked at the ends of the rotors, they have a rotor and then a cap. I keep hitting that. Cap on the end. There were twigs and leaves stuck right in that little tiny tight seam in between the cap and the end of the rotors. So I went ahead and called the maintenance officer and the CO, told them what I'd done. They just said, "Oh, okay."
So that's got to be one of the most precision ops you've ever
probably
done. I mean,
yeah, that was
Louise,
Well,
not only
I mean, I don't. I'm obviously again not a pilot, but the 46 is not exactly, easy to do that. I mean, I've heard of guys doing that in Vietnam and Hueys and stuff like that. But
I would, having flown both of those, I would contest that. I think the 46 is it's probably the most stable helicopter ever made.
Is it?
Well, you don't have a tail rotor.
Well, there's
You
that.
have two main rotors that are rotating. They're canceling out the torque. Very extremely stable, much more stable than having to work rudder pedals on an anti-torque pedal. Do
you think you would have been able to do that with a Huey?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Sorry that I even asked. What was
Yeah,
I
I
thinking?
mean, come
Jeez, I
on.
didn't mean to insult our guest here. Do you think
I
you
should
could
have turned
handle
off all the stabilization gear and just done it.
Yeah, you
cold
know.
to really,
Yeah.
and boost off.
Come
all
on,
that.
man.
Yeah,
Be a
to
man.
do it like a man.
Yeah. Glass off.
well, speaking of like a man,
Oh, the other story, the funny story. All right. It's funny, but it's not funny, but it is funny.
it's to a Marine, it's funny.
One day, 1 week, the squadron commander, we're at Okinawa, the squadron commander decides he wants to impress his boss, the group commander, by flying all 18 ships in the squadron. Unheard of. I mean, there's always 1 or 2 hangar queens. Always. No, the maintenance department just really did a hell of a job to pull this off. But they got all
The
18
T-34 that's
aircraft
behind you.
up
And
and
we actually got
flyable.
that thing annual.
We launch off on this. It's
Yeah.
running and up for flight. This gaggle, we darkened the skies with H-46s, flew all 18 aircraft, and you're broken into divisions of 4. Even a Marine can figure out there's a few stragglers that aren't in 4. But basically, what's that? 4 divisions of 4 and then 2 guys as a section. Anyway, off we go. We fly around the island, past Kadena, come up around. We're going to refuel up in, again, the northern training area, Camp Schwab. They have a football field there with an installation called a FARP, which is a
Forward Area Refueling Point.
Perfect. See, and we're going to be going in divisions because you can't fit all aircraft, all of them there at once. So the first division goes in with the CO and his 3 ships or 4 ships. They refuel, off they go. I'm leading the 3rd division, so I'm still orbiting up high. The 2nd division goes in with Pig Eyes, call sign Pig Eyes. I won't say his real name. Pig Eyes is leading that set of 4, and he's setting up for his landing. They're very close to the ground. They're probably no more than 30, 40 feet off the ground. When his Dash 2, who is, we'll just call him, I don't remember his call sign. We'll just call him Bob.
Names have been changed.
That's his real name, but how many Bobs are there in the world? So Bob was notorious in the squadron for being uncomfortably close when he flew formation. Instead of being the mandated 1 rotor disc away from the person you're following, he would fly so close that he's actually overlapping rotor blades, which is really extremely uncomfortable. In any case, Pig Eyes flares at the bottom to land, and we hear over the radios, and again, I'm orbiting, we hear over the squadron comm, oh God, I've been hit, we're going down, I can't control it, oh Jesus, we're going down. All right, basically going bat guano on the radio. Well, I'm up flying, and my co-pilot, Lockjock, Mike Lockhart, cool guy, Lockjock's over there, smoking a cigarette, as you did back then, smoking a cigarette, keys the mic, grabs the stick, keys the mic, and says, why don't you shut up and die like a man? And unkeys the mic, and he's smoking his cigarette. Well, I did what you just did. I'm over there laughing because this is funny as hell. But, you don't know if your buddies are about to really die. Because all you heard is somebody going...
2 helicopters crashing rotors.
And because when the reason that happened, I didn't say why that happened, is because Waggy, in fact, intermeshed about 3 feet of his forward rotor with Pig Eyes' rear rotor. And so
But like you said, they're about
They're
30 feet off the ground.
Bits and pieces
Bits
flying
everywhere.
around.
Well, Dash 3 and 4, they of course break off and go away. The two of them essentially semi-crash land into the zone. No one was hurt. No one was hurt. But yeah, why don't you shut up and die like a man? It was so poignant, so funny.
And so marine.
And so marine.
And what's great about that story is you said you were recounting that story with one of our other
Yes,
Zorro.
and he'd heard
and
it.
he'd heard it
He'd
through
heard
the grapevine.
That story. It made its way to Army Aviation about these crazy Marines, and one of them's telling the other one to shut up and die like a man. True story.
The great thing is, it's a true story. I mean, those stories get around, and you hear it. It's like, wait a minute, I was there, and
that didn't happen.
No.
But the names have been changed to protect the guilty.
As they should be.
Yeah.
As they should be.
I guess we can get back to the T-34 real quick. We got the T-34 that's behind you.
Yep.
And we actually got that thing annual.
It's running.
Yeah.
It's running and up for flight.
Yeah, we don't have insurance on it yet. So if anybody out there would like to donate a little bit of money to get some of these airplanes flying again, we got...
And I understand we're doing the same with the T-28.
T-28's over an annual right now.
Nice.
So maybe we can get your
when
instructing butt up there, and we could try to not kill you in that.
Let's go flying.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
It would be fun.
Yep.
That, and you mentioned that the T-28 is so much more manly.
Yeah, we used to call this the teeny weeny.
Yeah, it's like you're flying a Bonanza. I mean, it's quiet.
A Bonanza is as challenging as airplane as I ever flew.
It's a beach debonair, basically.
You fire up that T-28, and you know that you're in something.
Yeah.
Well,
they're both
radials.
cool.
I've got to run that.
They're both cool.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, Maggie was talking about her first Warbird ride was in a T-28 out of Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
So there you go. I bored you with a few more stories.
Well, but there's, in addition to stories, there's just cool stuff here, cool people. But, you folks really ought to, if you haven't been out, or even if you have, well, of course, if you have, you'll want to come back. But we are one of the best kept secrets in this whole town.
Well, and
we are.
And that's the thing, is it's not just the airplanes. I mean, you can come out, you can go anywhere and see airplanes. The airplanes are cool. But we're seeing it time after time. We sit down with guys like Arnie and you and Zorro, and they lived it. You guys lived these lives and did all these.
Guys did.
Really, whatever. You guys all did these things that were really.
Ashby's got some great stuff.
Ashby, all of you guys.
Johnny?
You could go in here.
Actually, Ashby was our first repeat offender.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But when you do come in the museum, grab one of these guys and just hear a story or two.
Well, and most likely one of these guys is going to grab you, and
yeah, they don't. Most of them usually like to talk. Yeah, that's
because
it's
because we're old timers and we like to talk about airplanes.
Well, because at the very least we are hosts. Hey, how you doing? You find any way around? You need anything? And if somebody goes, "Yeah, I'm good," it's like, okay, been waved off, sort of like Dash 3 and 4 in that formation.
And when I'm doing tours, I like to stress 2 points about our museum. Number one, you won't see velvet ropes around our aircraft.
Yeah.
It's not like a museum where you can't touch. Well, you're not supposed to touch, but you can't get close to the airplanes. I'll tell people, if you want to stick your head up in a nose wheel well or a bomb baby, you're welcome to here. You can get as close as you want. We ask you please not to touch them. The other thing is, it's very easy to make, not easy, but it's easier to make an aircraft look pretty. Put it on the display floor and just display it. These aircraft fly. To return these aircraft to an airworthy condition requires so much effort and so much care and love that that's what really makes this museum unique. Is all but one of our planes is completely flyable, Bones.
And Bill says it will be.
We have a few projects.
I hope not. We love it as in its current state.
It's great.
Bones, by the way, is a unrestored
the P-47 fuselage, the Razorback.
Yeah, which I love it as a display the way it is to show. This is where these aircraft can start and.
Well, you point to White 33 and say there's the after.
Exactly.
Well, when we get the next part of the pavilion up, there'll be another display in there. I think that hasn't really been announced yet, but it's going to kind of take the place of that, and you'll be. It's gonna be pretty nice.
Cool.
You're gonna enjoy it.
Great.
I think if Bill wants that airplane to fly, it's going to fly one of these days.
Yeah.
Time and money.
Time and money. That's it.
Well, and yeah, but well, our time is really more finite than the money, I guess. We can make another appeal to help us with this great work. I mean, again, these airplanes fly, and that takes a lot of money to do it. We don't ever want to push them outside and let them be some gate guard rotting away. So the completion of the pavilion is hugely important.
Yeah, along with the people that help us and all this stuff too, like Blazing Aviation and Concorde batteries. I mean,
yeah,
Christmas.
Good grief, these batteries are...
They're not cheap, and there's a lot of airplanes. When we first started this whole endeavor, we had 2 batteries to pass around like 6 airplanes. So it was you're always playing swap with the battery, because it was just like nobody wanted to come up with the money to go buy a battery. And then Concorde came on board, and man, every airplane we got's outfitted, and we never have to worry about it anymore. You just keep the battery minder on it,
charged.
and you walk away, and when you're ready to go fly it, you unplug it and you jump in, and it's all there.
As it should be.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you,
guys.
Arnie. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you sitting down with us and taking time out of your life again to do this for us.
Not a problem.
Really appreciate
No
it.
place I'd rather be on Saturday morning.
Well, that's where I'm at almost every Saturday morning. Speaking of, I got to go move some airplanes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on today.
Yeah, we're going to be moving some stuff. So.
And I still have a half-used Bloody Mary over there I got to get to.
All right, well, let's get to that.
Well,
then.
it's all about Virgin Mary.
Excuse me, what did I say? I meant Virgin Mary.
Well, people just sort of lapse.
Thanks, Arnie.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, yeah, I'd forgotten that we'd already circled back with Ashby, but we do get a lot of feedback, even personally, but sometimes online, about, hey, that was great, but what about this?
Yeah.
We're already getting people talking about Zorro.
Well, these guys, they all, like I said, they all have these stories. I mean, that's what kind of makes this whole museum amazing. I mean, it's really a lot. I mean, the airplanes are alive, but the people that we have, everybody around here has some sort of story, which, I didn't know. I've never even really talked to Kent Michelson, who we talked to last week.
Yeah.
And so to hear some of the stuff and, oh my God, this guy's had a whole career in this stuff, and you just didn't know.
Well, if you remember, when we started this, we said we're not going to go into the history or stuff real deep. It's the stories of the people who, like you, keep these things in the air.
It's the one. It's the thing that nobody knows. I mean, there's so many stories that everybody knows about. Jaeger breaking sound barrier, or the guys going up to the moon, whatever. But there's so many other. I mean, you guys, things are being run on a daily basis in this world. You know, military operations and things are happening, and everybody's building these stories, and it's just neat to be able to pull these stories out that the majority of the world have never heard before.
And the astounding thing is, we're still getting stories about World War II. 80 years later, some of the lesser known stories are coming out, and it's fabulous for a history geek like me. But you mentioned the battery people, and okay, we won't say it, but there's a lot of money sitting in that battery compartment on that beach.
Yeah, there's I mean, batteries are not cheap at all.
No, you can't go down to O'Reilly and
no, they're an aviation battery. For the longest time we ran the batteries that you'd have to fill them up with the acid, and you'd have to maintain them in water, and then they would overfill and they would bubble over and spill. And I mean, even this airplane behind us has a nice stain on the front cockpit floor, from the acid. Don't have that anymore with the Concorde batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a sealed battery. you don't eat up your shirt now when you move a battery around. And let me tell you, they're not light.
Because I bought you that shirt.
I'm not going to eat the shirt up with the batteries. I could put those batteries up against me all day long, and it's not eating them up, with the acid and stuff. And yeah, we just couldn't do it. I mean, we couldn't run a fleet like this at this operation without the help that we get from a company like Concord.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen.
Well, and
everything that we did for the Nick Coleman group and, History's Greatest Aviation, that documentary series, you couldn't get all those airplanes in the air at the same time.
No.
You just couldn't do it.
No. And I heard there are people who thought, oh, you couldn't have done that, really. You don't have that many airplanes.
They were actually accused by, I think, History Channel or somewhere. I don't know. Somebody, sending them emails saying that's AI. It's AI. That's not real. And no, it's all real.
Come smell it.
It was all shot out of the back of the bomber.
Yep.
I was there for every flight. So I guarantee you it was real.
It's great for you, but I'm more than a little envious.
It was a lot of work, but it's really cool work. It's
is.
what we do it all for, moments like that. So.
Yep, truly. Well.
So I guess we're just back to the pavilion still being built, and we're still looking for donations for the pavilion to finish that thing. Like I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier with Arnie, is we got some pretty neat displays. We got a very kind of a one-of-a-kind display that's going to be going up in there, and not really at liberty to talk about it yet, but there's just some really exciting stuff, and we can't wait to get that thing open. And so, go to the website, worldwariiaviation.org, and if you wanted to make any sort of donation, every little bit helps. Little, big,
literally,
it all helps. Bit. Yeah, I mean,
people throw in $5 into the can for the N3N. That helps.
Yeah, it all helps.
Every little bit. So
I guess we'll just end this thing off, but I'd like to thank Blazing Aviation once again. We'd like to also thank Concord Batteries for everything they do for us.
Yep.
I'd like to thank our guest, Arnie Easterly, for the amazing stories, and I'm sure that we're going to even have more from him in a future episode. So
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to that. So once again, thanks for William Stephenson behind the glass there, my partner Rob Gale, and myself, Scott Clares. Stay safe out there.
Do that.